Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. In case you're new, what I've been doing for the year 2026 is each month I'm focusing on a type of craft supply that I have in my stash. And for June, I decided to go with junk, since as a junk journaler and generally as a crafter, we tend to hoard stuff that most people would just get rid of. So what we're doing today is I was sorting through my excessive collection of paper scraps, like colored cardstock scraps, and I found these guys, which are, I'm pretty sure, are die cut offcuts. Like I die cut something out, like some kind of window, and it left these pieces, and of course I saved them. So I'm being a little expansive on my definition of junk for today's video, because I suspect most crafters would end up keeping these, figuring they could use them for something. But as I'm trying to cut down on the amount of random scraps I have, since I have too many, and I've been like culling my scrap paper collection down to something manageable, because I just don't have room for all of the little pieces of paper that I had in my stash of papers, I figured let's do something with these guys today. So we're going to do some stamped labels. So I'm going to pull out I think this is my Ultimate sticky mat, because I figure it'll be just easier to work with these guys if they're stuck in place. That one's got smoosh on the edge, but I think I may outline them with black pen to give them kind of more of a label feel. When we're done, let's stick a whole bunch on here. And then I'm going to pull out, I've got a bunch of my like bits and bob label-y stamps that I use off to the side, and I'll tell you what they are as I go through them and use them. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of stamp sets because, well, I have a lot of stamps. It comes from, I realized I've been paper crafting for almost 20 years now, so 20 years of collecting stamps will get you a pretty sizable collection of stamps. What's going on over there? And since the whole idea behind picking a theme each month was to get me to use more of my stash, I am dipping into my stash and pulling out, like, I've got several mini stamp sets pulled out. Oh, look, I think I can get all of these guys on, and then we can do the 4 gray ones separately. All right, step 1, I want to do some just general background stamping. So let's pull out a background stamp. I had one that I was like, oh, let's use that scripty bit. Okay, so this is from a Crafty by Tony stamp set. So I'm going to pull out a script stamp. I'm also going to pull out the ledger stamps from Creative Expressions and do some of them with a ledger stamp. I think we're just going to leave it off the block. We're going to grab trying to decide if I want to do Sand Dune or Pebble Beach. Let's do a test swatch and see which one we like better. Scrap piece of paper. That's Sand Dune. That's Pebble Beach. I think I want Sand Dune. I think I want it the lighter color. All right, let's use that. We may use Pebble Beach yet, but let's start with Sand Dune since we're just trying to create some interesting background. And so I'm repeat stamping it because it doesn't have to be intense all the time. Because again, this is layer 1. And Now we'll use this ledger stamp. Again, I'm going to use it off the block. Definitely not stamping straight. Don't mind that I'm like getting random bits, because again, this is the background and I'm probably going to add a little ink to them later on. And now we're going to just stamp some stuff on to give it a little bit more folkly look. I also think I want to pull out, I've got the Crafty by Tony grungy stamps. I think I want to add a little grunge too. Maybe we'll do a little bit of that in the Pebble Beach. But let's start with this row. Actually, let's do, how many I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 18. So let's do, I'm gonna do 9 coastally themed-ish and 9 butterfly-y themed. Because I've kind of got butterfly journals still in the works, left over from last year. So for those, we're gonna do a variety of colors. So I've grabbed Versafine Clair Charming Pink. Let's stamp a butterfly on that one. And this is a Crafty by Tony stamp. And I have no rags because my dog keeps stealing them. Let's do a different butterfly. I've got a whole bunch of butterflies by Crafty by Tony. And we're gonna just go through like the variety of colors I've got. All right, this is Warm Breeze. Verdant. I got her new stamp set, which also has some butterflies. So let's grab those. And that's Summertime. Purple Delight. I'm gonna grab out, this is another Crafty by Tony stamp, and it's some florals. So let's do one with that. That's the Charming Pink again. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, I've got another floral I can do, I think. Be too small. I will do. I'm grabbing Monarch. I think that, and then we'll just stamp something else on there with it. And then I'm gonna do one more butterfly, I think in the Monarch. I think I like that one the best. 9, I need 2 more. Done that pointing the other way since I had that one pointing that way, but too late now. All right, we're gonna use a moth from a Crafty by Tony stamp set and to do it in Medieval Blue. We're gonna add probably a number or a word stamp to all of these guys. Oh, this set has a lot of like figure 1, figure 2. I'm gonna get a smaller block. I think I want to do them all in one color so that I'm not futzing around swapping colors all the time. I think I'm gonna go with Fallen Leaves. From one of her newer sets, I want to pull out a couple of word stamps that I think I want to add to these, and I think I want them a little lighter than Fallen Leaves. So let's pull over the Pebble Beach. pulled out a couple numbers to go with the florals, and I think those I am gonna do in the colors I stamped the flowers. And these are more Crafty by Tony stamps. That's not the right color. Glad I caught that before I stamped. I would have been a little bit annoyed if I'd stamped that in purple. Then I grabbed another Crafty by Tony stamp, and it says archive copy. And that I'm gonna stamp on those guys in the Pebble Beach. Like that. I think those guys are done-ish because I want to outline them in black marker to give them more of a label look. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So let's wait and do all of them at once. So let's start stamping the other guys with some bits and bobs. And that I'm gonna grab Memento Danube Blue and Versafine Satin Red because we're going more postally. So let's grab some numbers. These are Crafty by Tony stamps. I stamped that upside down. It's okay. I'm just kind of randomly pulling out some stamps that I think will work and stamping away. So far, I've been sticking mostly with my Crafty by Tony stamps. No idea if that was upside down or right side up. That's fine. We got a couple more. I think I'm gonna grab some Darkroom Door stamps because they're a little bit bigger, and do this guy across two. Mostly because I'm like, I don't want to cut that piece in two. So we'll go with this guy, and this guy we'll do in red on two of them. Oh, didn't quite fit on there all the way, but that's all right. And I need something touching that. A second cancellation going like that, upside down. Yet another Crafty by Tony stamp set. Apparently these little guys are going to be almost all Crafty by Tony. And this is Creative Expressions Numbers from the Past. And that's CEC1086. And obviously we're gonna need to add something to that. I'm thinking we'll go back to the Darkroom Door cancellation stamps and do a cancellation in red on that one. Not bad. I like that font. All right. Okay. Now I think the postal ones, I do want to pull out the grungy stamps and do a little grunginess on them. So let's find those and add some grungy bits on the sides. I'm going to use the Pebble Beach. We're just going to fill in some spots that feel a little empty. All right, I think I like those. Now, what I want to do is make them a little more label-y. So, I'm gonna pop them off this. Let a dog out because he's eager to go out. Okay, so I let a dog out. I grabbed my Copic multi-liner, and this is 1.0, so it's the whitest one I have. And what I'm gonna do is use the ruler to edge it in black. And it's not gonna be perfect because I didn't actually do any kind of measuring. I just want to keep from going completely off the rails, which will happen if I freehand it. But if you're more comfortable, you can freehand it. You don't have to use the ruler. I think that side needs to be a little thicker. So there we got that one. I also grabbed, I've got a sepia. Let's give that one a try and see how we like that one. Right, so I think my black multi-liner works a little bit better. Like the sepia pen definitely needs a little extra oomph to get its cover, but I'm going to do that to all of these, but I'm going to do that off camera because let's face it, watching me draw lines around will be really, really boring. So I will do those and show you what they look like after that's finished. Now, let's go ahead and do the gray guys, just so that these are all done and can get moved into, like, ephemera bit storage. These are a little bit bigger. I'm going to need a second to decide what kind of theme I want to go with for doing those. I'll be right back. I had a bit of a think. I've pulled out Studio Light. This is script background. And I am just going to leave it on the plastic. I know, let's pull it off. It'll be a little easier to maneuver. I'm gonna ink it up with Versafine Clair Morning Mist. It's very floppy because it's such a large stamp. We're just gonna do that. That was way darker than I wanted. Definitely upside down. Let's stamp it off and then stamp it on. Do that one more time. And yep, it's a little smudgy. Not a big deal because really this is just we're trying to get a background. Now I've pulled out the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. It's one of the like clear stamp and stencil sets, and I know these are like the Wildflowers or something like that, and I thought what we could do is stamp them very faintly in the background. I think I am going to use a block. Yes, and what we're going to do is grab, I think we're going to do Versafine Clair. We're going to take out, what is that? Charming Pink, Warm Breeze, Verdant, and Purple Delight. And we are definitely, this is going to be second generation stamping. So I am going to, because again, we're creating a background. So I'm going to ink up. I'm going to grab the piece of paper. I'm going to stamp that once. Let me just test. I stamp it a second time. Yes. Okay. So we're going to ink, stamp off, stamp on, and then I'm going to change color. Now we're going to switch stamps and repeat the process. Right, and now I'm going to go around and stamp some stamps from Field Notes, which is CMS 396. Hoping this is going to be dark enough, but I'm not sure that it is. I'm going to pick a darker green, I think, for stamping on the green, just because of how pale that green is. I'm going to use Rainforest, I think. Let's see what it looks like on here. Yeah, I think we'll go with Rainforest. Now we need numbers for sure. Gonna make life easy and take one number from that stamp set and use it for all of them. And I am gonna stamp it in the color. To do one last thing, which is a like circle cancellation stamp on all of them. That I'm gonna do in Archival Ink Hickory Smoke, which I'm gonna call those guys done, although I think I am gonna go around the edges of them as well, just to give that nice finishing touch. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll be back. So I've got them finished. Let me give you a closer look at everybody. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that let YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.